The Assassin's Creed franchise is known and loved by many for its various historical settings. Each game tells a story set across an expansive timeline, allowing players to explore places like ancient Egypt and Victorian London. The most recent game is Assassin's Creed Mirage, an standalone game set within Baghdad and telling the story of Basim, a key character from Assassin's Creed Valhalla. With that game finished, once again fans are looking forward to what's next. Ubisoft has already given fans an idea of what's coming next for the Assassin's Creed franchise, including codename Red and codename Hex, along with the mobile game codename Jade. Fans can look forward to codename Red in 2024, but to some extent that feels far away. For some fans, that means this is a time to reflect on the older games. One interesting way to do so would be to explore the games in chronological order based on the Assassin's Creed timeline rather than playing them in the order they were released. Here's how to play every major game in chronological order. Assassin's Creed Odyssey. One of the newest Assassin's Creed games is the first chronologically, taking place in ancient Greece. 2018's Odyssey is a rarity in the series, as it doesn't revolve around the war between the Assassin Brotherhood and the Templar Order. Instead, it fills in the backstory of the Order, the Templars, and the First Civilization, the beings that created humanity in AC lore. Like most AC games, Assassin's Creed Odyssey's present-day segment set up the connective tissue between games. However, there's also more information about the past too, as the Misthios meet several of the Izu in the First Civilization during the expansions. Assassin's Creed Origins. The next Assassin's Creed game in chronological order is 2017's Origins, which goes back to the foundation of the Assassin Order in ancient Egypt, when they were known as the Hidden Ones. They battle the Templars' predecessors, the Order of the Ancients. Origins also features Assassin's Creed's most relatable protagonist in Bayek. A compassionate man known for helping his people, Bayek goes on a quest for revenge against the Order after he loses his son. The game also introduced a new protagonist for the modern-day segments, Layla Hassan, who would later appear in Odyssey and Valhalla. Assassin's Creed Mirage. The most recent mainline Assassin's Creed game is Mirage, a game that initially wasn't meant to be a main game at all. A prequel to Valhalla, Mirage follows supporting character Basim, a fan-favorite character from the Viking Focus game. Mirage starts long before Basim had any idea who the Hidden Ones were, or any idea of his true heritage as one of the Izu. Set 20 years before Valhalla takes place, Basim begins his training in the Order and learns how to master his abilities. A shorter game than some of the previous Assassin's Creed titles, Mirage was meant to be a throwback to the early-era games. Assassin's Creed Valhalla. The third game in the Ancients trilogy released in 2020, and focused on a Viking named Ava assisting the Hidden Ones against the Order of the Ancients. Unlike most Assassin's Creed protagonists, Ava works with the Brotherhood, but they never join it directly. Valhalla focused on the Viking invasion, but it also introduced a heavy dose of Norse mythology. Ava travels back and forth between their world and Asgard, as they learn more about their past. Ava's true past is detailed completely in the game's many DLCs, which eventually leads to Assassin's Creed Mirage, a separate game that focuses on the assassin Basim. Assassin's Creed Altair's Chronicles. Released shortly after the first game, 2008's Altair's Chronicles was a Nintendo DS and mobile prequel. The story is told from Altair's perspective instead of Desmond Miles reliving his memories through the Animus. It sets up the plot and gameplay loop of the original by telling the story of Altair's failure to retrieve the chalice from the Templars. This game wasn't particularly well received and lacks the open world of the previous installments. Assassin's Creed. The original Assassin's Creed introduced the Assassin Templars conflict and the Animus plot device, which have carried on through the series. The first Anima subject, Desmond Miles, would appear in the next 5 core game's modern-day segments. Recurring series MacGuffin, the Apple of Eden, which controls minds, was also introduced here. The big flaw with this game was the repetitiveness of its mission structure. However, that didn't stop fans from being pulled into this unique world that was both futuristic and historical at once. Assassin's Creed: Bloodlines. 2009's Bloodlines is a PlayStation Portable exclusive that continues the first game's story, with Altair hunting down more Templars. It's also a love story, chronicling the relationship between Altair and Templar Maria Thorpe, who briefly appeared in Assassin's Creed. Bloodlines connects with Assassin's Creed 2, also released in 2009. Connecting a PSP to a PlayStation 3 meant players could unlock exclusive content in one game by playing the other. While the technology involved was clever, ultimately this game suffered from a similar problem to the original for being overly repetitive. Assassin's Creed 2. Also released in 2009, the second major game in the series introduced one of Assassin's Creed's most beloved protagonists, Ezio Auditor da Firenze. Ezio's origin story takes place in Renaissance Italy, as he joins the Brotherhood to avenge the death of his father and brother. Ezio starred in the next 3 core entries in the series, the most of any assassin. To many, Assassin's Creed 2 begins the franchise's peak, perfecting both the gameplay and the story alike. Assassin's Creed 2: Discovery. The third Assassin's Creed game released in 2009, Discovery took place between DLC chapters in AC2. Like Altair's Chronicles, it was released on the DS and mobile phones. This told a side story that saw Ezio interact with historical figures like Christopher Columbus, while assisting the Spanish Assassins Guild in their battle against the Spanish Inquisition. The inspired premise is accompanied by a switch to 2D, new for the series. While some elements of the game are lacking, it's still surprisingly a great companion piece to Assassin's Creed 2. Assassin's Creed: Brotherhood. Ezio's second core outing, 2010's Brotherhood, continued his battle against the Templar-aligned Borgia family in Rome. Ezio continues to rub shoulders with historical figures like Leonardo da Vinci and Machiavelli. Desmond's role becomes larger, as he finds the Apple of Eden through Ezio's memories, leading to a shocking ending involving Lucy, the supporting character voiced by Kristen Bell. Brotherhood continues to improve on everything in Assassin's Creed 2, from graphics to the story. It even offers a multiplayer mode that turned out to be just as good as the single-player story. Assassin's Creed Revelations. Not content with just ending Ezio's trilogy, 2011's Revelations also reveals more of Altair's memories. Ezio accesses them in 16th century Constantinople in an attempt to find the Apple of Eden, which was locked in Altair's vault, leading to a climatic scene that connects Ezio, Altair, and Desmond. It reveals the assassin's true purpose, making it the most important game in the franchise. Assassin's Creed Chronicles: China. The first of a trio of side-scrolling 2.5D games, 2015's China stars the underrated Xiao Jun was introduced in the short film Assassin's Creed: Embers, where she traveled to Italy to train with an elderly Ezio. After returning home, she sought vengeance against the Eight Tigers, the Templars that wiped out the Chinese Brotherhood. Assassin's Creed 4: Black Flag. 2013's Black Flag was a departure for the series beyond its focus on piracy over Park Hour. The first game not to feature Desmond as its anima subject, it delved into Abstergo's attempt to rewrite history to make the Templars look heroic. Set during the 18th century Caribbean's golden age of piracy, it's loosely a prequel of Assassin's Creed 3. Star Edward Kenway is the father of AC3 antagonist Haytham and grandfather of protagonist Connor. Assassin's Creed: Freedom Cry. Set 20 years after Black Flag, Freedom Cry stars quartermaster turned assassin Adewale. It was initially DLC for Black Flag before being released as a standalone title. Shipwrecked in Haiti, Adewale aligns with liberated slaves the Maroons against the slave trade, another example of the series' use of actual historical figures. Assassin's Creed: Rogue. The series' second pirate-focused game, 2014's Rogue, is set during the same time period as Assassin's Creed 3. Its protagonist Shay Cormac, a former assassin who joins the Templars, interacts with characters from multiple AC games, including 2014's Unity. This gives what could have been a loose spin-off surprisingly strong continuity. Originally, this title was only meant to be a game for last-gen consoles, while Assassin's Creed Unity was meant for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. However, while the game has connections to Unity, unfortunately, it was a bit too similar to Black Flag without being nearly as long. Assassin's Creed 3. The divisive 2012 game Assassin's Creed 3 stars half-Mohawk, half-English assassin Rattnhake Tun, also known as Connor, as he fights against the Templars during the American Revolution. That includes his father Haytham, the leader of the Colonial Templars. Branching off into alternative history, the game includes a DLC where Connor fights an Apple of Eden corrupted George Washington who has made himself King of the United States. In the present day, this game also wraps up Desmond's story arc. Assassin's Creed 3: Liberation. Originally released as a PlayStation Vita exclusive alongside Assassin's Creed 3, Liberation stars Aveline de Grandpré, the series' first female protagonist. It takes place in New Orleans during the 18th century, as Aveline battles Templars at the end of the French and Indian War. Like Bloodlines, it was a companion game that could be linked with the PS3 version of AC3 to unlock content. It's unfortunate this game was locked away to portable and didn't get a chance to be on the home consoles, as it touched on plenty of political ideas from this turbulent era in American history. Assassin's Creed Unity. A buggy launch made 2014's Unity one of Assassin's Creed's most infamous titles, though patches have turned it into a solid entry in the series. Set during the French Revolution, it stars nobleman Arnaud Dorian and focused on the Assassin-Templar War. It added a wrinkle of star-crossed love between Arnaud and his childhood sweetheart, Templar follower Elise. Unity also started a modern-day story that was continued in the next installment in the Assassin's Creed timeline, Syndicate. Assassin's Creed Chronicles: India. Like Shao Jun, Assassin's Creed Chronicles: India's protagonist debuted in another medium. In this case, Arbaz Mir appeared in the graphic novel Assassin's Creed: Brahmin before starring in a game. 2016's India takes place in 1841, as Arbaz hunts a Templar master during the war between the Sikh Empire and the East India Trading Company. Perhaps most interesting about this title outside its setting is that it ties directly into Assassin's Creed: Syndicate. Assassin's Creed Syndicate. 2015 Syndicate was the last Assassin's Creed game before the series made its transition from the sandbox genre to action RPG. 6 years later, it plays like a fun throwback. Looking back though, it's clear that Syndicate was beginning the transition to an entirely different genre. It's filled with the beginnings of RPG systems, as Ubisoft tried to figure out what they wanted to do next with the franchise. Set in Victorian England, the game focuses on the Fry twins' battle against the Templars. Assassin's Creed Chronicles: Russia. The last of the Chronicles games, and the most recent in terms of all the Assassin's Creed games in chronological order, takes place in 1918 following the October Revolution. Starring another character from the comics, 2016's Chronicles, Russia also features historical figure, the Xiaojun-possessed Princess Anastasia Romanova. She turns out to be a pivotal figure in AC lore. As the assassins learned how to send people into the memories of assassins they weren't related to via the precursor box that possessed her. Something crucial to the post-Desmond games. Interesting as this game is, Ubisoft has stated in the past they have no interest in going further in time than the early 20th century, though naturally plans can always change. In conclusion, the Assassin's Creed franchise has taken us on a captivating journey through time and history. From the ancient streets of Greece to the bustling cities of Victorian England, each game offers a unique experience tied together by the age-old conflict between assassins and Templars. As we eagerly await the upcoming releases like Codename Red and Codename Hex, taking a moment to explore these games in chronological order provides a fresh perspective on the rich narrative tapestry woven by Ubisoft. So, whether you're a seasoned fan or a newcomer, dive into the Animus, relive the epic tales, and get ready for the next thrilling chapter in the Assassin's Creed saga. Subscribe for more gaming insights and stay tuned for the latest updates on this iconic series. Thanks for watching, and may your hidden blade stay sharp.